Hello everyone. So this is the third part of our chapter, which is chemical coordination and integration. So let's begin with this. So today we are going to discuss about pituitary gland hormone. So in the last class we did in the last class we learned about the pituitary gland, that it is located in a bony cavity which is called as sella turcica, and we discussed that it is attached to the hypothalamus by a stalk, and it is anatomically divided. Pituitary gland is anatomically yani basis of their on the base of their anatomy, it is divided into two parts: adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. Adenohypophysis is consisting of two parts, which is pars distillaris and pars intermedia, and neurohypophysis is also called as pars nervosa, and pars distillaris is nothing but our anterior pituitary, and pars nervosa is our posterior pituitary. And we discussed that through our pars distillaris there are 6 hormones secreted, which are GH, growth hormone, PRL, prolactin, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, LH, luteinizing hormone, and FSH, which is follicle stimulating hormone. And there is only one hormone which gets secreted by our pars intermedia, which is MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone. And in humans, we discussed that in humans, pars distillaris is almost merged, मतलब कह सकते हैं कि पूरी तरीके से वो मर्ज होता है किसमें, पार्स डिस्टिलेज में. कौन? पार्स इंटरमीडिया ह्यूमंस के अंदर. एंड न्यूरोफाइसिस secretes are two hormones which it stores and releases, which is actually synthesized by the hypothalamus and transported axonally to neurospora. Means that ये एक्चुअली सिंथेसाइज होता है हाइपोथैलेमस में, और बाद में एक्सन की मदद से इट इज ट्रांसपोर्टेड टू न्यूरोस्पोरा, एंड न्यूरोस्पोरा वर्क्स टू स्टोर दिस हार्मोन एंड रिलीज दिस हार्मोन. What are these two hormones? Oxytocin, and we have one more, which is vasopressin. Now let's discuss about the functions. We discussed that we don't have to it should not happen that the GH is secreting more and it is secreting, means there should be an average amount of the secretion of GH. If there is over secretion, it will lead to abnormal growth of the body and lead to gigantism. Gigantism means extreme growth of someone in the childhood, like extreme growth. And if there is low secretion, it will lead to stunted growth, and which will lead to dwarfism, it will lead to pituitary dwarfism. And the excess secretion of growth hormone in adults, especially in the middle age, can result in the disfigurement. Means जो फिगर होती है वो क्या हो सकती है, irregular हो सकती है, we can say disfigurement हो सकती है, and especially of the face, there could be disfigurement of the face, and this is called as acromegaly. Okay, in the adults, in the middle age. Okay, so which is serious complication. Okay, and premature death, if it is not checked, then it will lead to death also. So this is hard to diagnose in the early stages, because it feels that this is a part of we can say it's a part of our life, like the changes which come. But so it is hard to diagnose that whether it is acromegaly or not. So at the pre-stages, it is difficult to find out, but often goes undetected for many years, but until changes in external features become noticeable. Okay, so prolactin, what is the role of PR? PR have the role to to regulate the growth of our mammary glands and the formation of milk in them. Next, TSH, thyroid. It is related to thyroid. The word describes its function also. The name describes the function also. The THS, which is thyroid stimulating hormone, has the function to stimulate the secretion of synthesize and secretion of thyroid hormone, and from where it is secreted? From our thyroid gland. Okay, from our thyroid gland, it will regulate the secretion and synthesis of thyroid hormone from our thyroid gland. Next, we have ACTH. ACTH. And ACTH has a function to synthesize and the secretion of steroid hormone. It has a function to stimulate the secretion of steroid hormone, which we call as glucocorticoids. Glucocorticoids. Okay, glucocorticoids we call them. The steroid hormone which gets secreted from ACTH as well as glucocorticoids, and it gets secreted from our adrenal cortex. Adrenal cortex. Okay, and LH and FSH are does the gonadal activity of our body, so therefore they called as gonadotropins. LH and FSH has the function to do our work on our gonadal activity, so therefore they called as gonadotropins. And they have some specific function, like LH has a function to synthesize the secretion of androgens in males, and in males the FSH has a function. FSH and androgen both will regulate the process of spermatogenesis, but in females LH will induce the ovulation of follicles, which we call as Graafian follicles. Graafian follicles, and maintains the corpus luteum formed by the remnants of Graafian follicle. After the formation of after the Graafian follicles, there will be some remnants which is formed from that only, and it will maintain that also. So FSH stimulates growth and development of these follicles, and MSH is melanocytic hormone. So it means that from the word it is clear that there will be melanocytes. Melanocyte means melanin containing cells, the cells which contains melanin. Okay, and they work to regulate the pigmentation of the skin. They work to regulate the pigmentation of skin, and that's what decides the color of our skin. If there is much melanin, means that our color would be dark, and we can say dusky skin will have. And if the melanin is not that much, so our skin will be light. And the function of MSH is to regulate the pigmentation of the skin. Next, oxytocin. Oxytocin works on our smooth muscles of our body, and this stimulates the contraction, like in females. Okay, and the ejection of mammary gland also. Next, we have vasopressin. Vasopressin mainly acts on the kidney, acts on our kidneys mainly, and the function of the vasopressin is to stimulate the reabsorption of water. They stimulate the reabsorption of water. They will stimulate, and electrolytes also by the distal tubules, and thereby reduces the loss of water through urine. This is called as diuresis, and hence it is also called as antidiuretic hormone, because it is working on our reabsorption of water and electrolytes, and they are just protecting it from they are reducing the loss of water through our urine, and therefore it is called as antidiuretic hormone. And an impairment affecting synthesis of ADH results in diminished ability of the kidney to consume water, leading to water loss and dehydration. If there is some impairment or any disorder in the release of ADH, then there will be loss of water, and this will lead to dehydration, and this condition is called as diabetes insipidus. Diabetes insipidus. So what is it saying? That our ADS has a function to work on the to reduce the loss of water through our urine, and that is called diuresis. But if there is like some impairment, or there is something due to which the release of ADP is not there, okay, means there is no ADP, then it will lead to the loss of water, and the loss of water will lead to dehydration, and is this condition is called as diabetes insipidus. Okay, so let's now discuss about the pineal gland. So what is the pineal gland? Let's discuss about it. It is, someone reads it pineal gland, but it is also can be read as pineal gland, because I read it like this. So pineal gland, it is located in the dorsal side of our forebrain, and it secretes a hormone which is melatonin. The hormone which gets secreted by our pineal gland is melatonin, and melatonin plays a very important role in the regulation of our diurnal. Diurnal means day and night rhythm of our body. Day and night rhythm of our body. The function it has to maintain the regulation of 24-hour diurnal rhythm of our body. For example, it helps in maintaining the normal rhythm of the sleep-wake cycles, body temperature. It also influences metabolism, pigmentation, and etc. Next, we have thyroid gland. So let's just discuss here. This is our thyroid gland. Okay, this is trachea. This is trachea. This is our vocal cord. Okay, these are the thyroid, and this is trachea. Okay, very simple. Next, we have the parathyroid gland. The parathyroid gland, it is present here, the dorsal side of it. Okay, so let's now begin with the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland composed of two lobes, which are located either side of the trachea, means both of the sides. The lobes are interconnected by a thin flap of connecting, like they are interconnected by a thin flap, like this flap. This flap, they are interconnected by a thin flap, which is called as isthmus. Isthmus. Okay. Isthmus. It gets connected by a thin flap of connective tissue, which is isthmus, and the thyroid gland composed of follicles and stromal tissues. Each thyroid follicle composed of follicular cells enclosing a cavity, and this follicle cell synthesizes two hormones, T4 and T3 hormone. We have some specific name of that also. Like we have the name T3, we can call that tetraiodothyronine, and T4 we can call as triiodothyronine. Tetra means 4, okay, tri means 3. So it is very simple from the name only. And tetraiodothyronine is also known as thyroxine, okay, hormone. Iodine very essential. Everyone knows that if there is deficiency of iodine, it will lead to goitre. This is called goitre. Everyone knows it. So iodine is very important. Iodine is essential for the normal rate of hormone synthesis. If there is an adequate amount of iodine in your body, then it will lead to the normal rate of synthesis of thyroid. And if there is deficiency, means and there is kami of iodine in your diet, it will lead to hypothyroidism. This is a disorder. It will lead to hypothyroidism and enlargement of your thyroid gland. Your thyroid gland will get enlarged, and it is commonly called as goitre. Everyone knows it. And hypothyroidism during pregnancy can also lead to the defective development of the baby, and can lead to low intelligence and these kind of things. Okay, like this can lead to stunted growth of the child, or mental retardation, low intelligence question, abnormal skin, deep mutism, and etc. So in adult women, hypothyroidism can lead to the irregulation of menstrual cycle, and due to the cancer of thyroid gland, it could lead to the development of nodules of thyroid gland, and the rate of synthesis secretion of thyroid gland is increased and leading to a condition which is hypothyroidism. Hypo and hyper. These are very different. Hyper when there is high level of. Hypo means there is high level of a level of abnormal high level, which is like to increase hormone like thyroid hormone is increased, that led to a condition called hyperthyroidism. Okay, and which affects our body's physiology. Next, exophthalmic goiter. It is a form of hyperthyroidism. It is a form of hyperthyroidism, which is characterized that we can get to know about it when the thyroid gland is enlarged, protrusion of the eyeballs, when the eyeballs are protruded, and increase in the basal metabolic rate, the weight loss. These can lead to the, also it is also called as Graves' disease, because that person who is going through the exophthalmic goiter looks like a skeleton, we can say grave murda type the person looks. So that's why it is also called as Graves' disease, because the eyeballs like protrude, na? So it will look very terrible. And it will also lead to weight loss. So it is called as Graves' disease. Next, thyroid hormones plays an important role in the regulation of the basal metabolic rate. These hormones support the process of RBC formation, which will support the formation of RBCs. Thyroid hormones control the metabolism of carbohydrate, proteins, and fats. Maintenance of water and electrolyte balance is also gets influenced by our thyroid gland, and thyroid gland also secretes a protein hormone which we call as TCT. TCT means thyrocalcitonin. Thyrocalcitonin. Thyrocalcitonin gets secreted. This is a protein hormone which is secreted by thyroid gland, and the function of it is to, the name here also gets clear, that calcium level. It will regulate the blood calcium level. Okay, so there is one protein hormone which gets secreted from our thyroid gland, TCT, thyrocalcitonin, and the function of it to regulate the blood calcium levels. Okay, next we are going to talk about the parathyroid gland. Parathyroid gland, we have the four parathyroid glands present on the back side of our thyroid gland. Okay, dorsal side of our thyroid gland it is present. One pair which have the two lobes of thyroid gland. Parathyroid gland secretes a peptide hormone which is called as parathyroid hormone, very simple, and the secretion of PTH is regulated by the circulatory levels of calcium levels. That calcium, that how much how much the secretion of PTH, which is parathyroid hormone, will be done in our body. It gets regulated by the level of calcium ion, that how much iron is present. Okay, and the parathyroid hormone increases the calcium levels in the body too. And PTH acts on the bones and stimulate the process of bone resorption, disulfation, demineralization, and etc. And PTH also stimulates the resorption of calcium by the renal tubules and increases calcium absorption from the digestive system. So PTH is a hypercalcemic hormone because it is working for the hormone and it is helping to increase the level of calcium in our blood. And along with TCT, it plays a significant role in the calcium balance also in the body. So it is like it is working for the calcium only, for the balance of calcium and to increase. Therefore, it is called as hypercalcemic hormone. Next, we are going to talk about the thymus. Thymus is like a lobular structure which is located between the lungs, behind our sternum, means behind our sternum is behind on the ventral side of aorta, and the thymus plays an important role in the development of our immune system. Thymus helps in our immune system. Please write, it works for our immune system, and the glands which are secreted by it is thymosin. Thymosin have a major role in the differentiation of what? T lymphocyte, right? We discussed about lymphocytes. Remember that two kind of lymphocytes, we have B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. So it works thymosin works for the differentiation of T lymphocytes and provides cell-mediated immunity. And in addition, thymosin also promote the production of antibodies. It works for our immune system, so um, it will promote the production of antibodies. Thereafter only we can say that our immune system will get developed, right? So it will promote the production of antibodies to provide humoral immunity. It is degenerated in old individuals, which led to the decreased production of, like, what happens in the old individuals. There is less production of thymosin. That's the reason why they become weak. The old person, why they become weak. Okay. Next we have adrenal gland. Our body has one pair of adrenal glands. One it is the anterior part of each kidney, means in the anterior part of each kidney there will be adrenal gland. Okay, and the gland is composed of two types of tissues, and it is located, the centrally located tissue is called as centrally, we call it medulla, so it will be adrenal medulla, and which is outside is cortex, so we will call it adrenal cortex. And the underproduction of hormones by the adrenal cortex alters carbohydrate metabolism, which will lead to acute weakness and fatigue, which will lead to Addison's disease. So, if there is underproduction of hormones by the adrenal cortex, it will alter the carbohydrate metabolism, which will lead to acute weakness, fatigue, and which will lead to a disease which is called as Addison's disease. So these are the thyroid, these are the adrenal gland we have. This is the adrenal gland we have, and it looks like this. This is called as the outer region is called as adrenal cortex. Outer region is known as adrenal cortex. It is outside, so it will called as adrenal cortex. Okay, and the inner one, like the central one, will call as adrenal medulla. This is adrenal medulla. This inside portion is adrenal medulla. Okay, and okay, so we'll do this in the next class. Thank you very much for watching this video.